Welcome into the Sean and Sean podcast, where we're two average dudes talking sports like we know what we're talking about. My name is Sean Usher, and my esteemed co-host Sean Cummings is right here. Say what's up to everybody, Sean.
What's going on? How you guys doing?
So this week, last week, if you tuned in for our first episode, we talked about our top 10 mock draft. This week we're going to be going around the block with some things. We're going to be talking NFL coaches. We're going to be talking some scouting, even though we're not scouts. Don't try to confuse us with them. And then we're going to talk some NFL playoffs. So we're going to start out with our top five QBs for this coming NFL draft, the 2021 NFL draft. And we're both going to give our list. Last week, we went back and forth with the mock draft. This week, we're just going to give our particular lists. So we're going to start out with the number 5 quarterback on our list. So, Sean, I'll let you start.
All right.
Who is your number 5 quarterback?
Number 5. This was a hard one for me. I had a debate between the SEC quarterbacks, and I think winning the championship helped me make my decision. My number 5 quarterback, I have Mac Jones from Alabama. So he's my number 5, coming fresh off a championship. He led a very strong Alabama team. People have compared him to A.J. McCarron, but I think he's a little bit better. And I actually think he's going to go in the first round. I can see him going into top
first round
to a desperate quarterback needy team. I could see a team like New England, Bill Belichick, taking a chance on Mac Jones if they want to opt for taking a quarterback with their first pick.
I don't know. I got my New England pick. There's a guy in this draft we're not talking linebackers, but there's a guy in this draft that's literally the quintessential New England pick. I'm just saying.
All right, but we're not talking draft. We're talking NFL prospect, quarterbacks. That's my number 5. Right. Who's your number 5?
Right. Well, we don't differ here. I'm also saying Mac Jones. I see him more as a second round pick. Early second round, possibly, but still a second round pick. Maybe someone trades into that back end of the first round to get that 5th-year option on there, but
5th year,
I see him more as a second round pick. I actually like his arm strength. I like what he's done. It's just, again, he's got less of the physical tools that Tua had, but still same, just ungodly weapons. No.
Time will tell.
Going to number. True.
Going to number 4. The weapons around him that made him successful, or if he himself was pushing that offense and making it go. We're going to find out real soon, but I think he's going to go in the first rounds. Some team's going to be desperate.
That's a little rich for me. A little rich. But maybe not New England. You know something? Maybe Pittsburgh. I can get them board with Pittsburgh find their successor right there. Yeah. Now, a player. So now we're going to the top 4. I got 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10, and my number 4 guy for the back end of the top 10, maybe around that 7-9 range, depending on if there's a trade. I got North Dakota State Trey Lance. No, I know he didn't play this year. I know that there's. I know that he hasn't had the big level of competition, but the dude just looks the part. The dude can throw the ball, and no interceptions in that 1 year. I'm sorry, that just screams something that I can develop. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, there are some parts I agree with you on. He's also my number 4. We really have to stop agreeing on these things. He's my number 4 pick too. What worries me a little bit about him And don't get me wrong, I think some team is going to have the coaching staff to build and develop him. I see him going in the first round. I see him going within the top 15 picks. I think that range will be
Well,
probably
you're just
between
talking
8
New
and
England.
15. I know.
You're just
I know.
talking
It
New
depends on
England.
how the
You think he
draft
gets past
falls.
New England?
I don't think he's going to last to New England, but if he slides,
You think of San Francisco,
I
don't you?
wouldn't blame Bill Belichick for taking him. I think 8-15 is going to be a safe range for him to go. What concerns me, though, is he had one really good year.
He did.
And when I think
And
of
I agree with
quarterbacks who
you.
had one really good year before turning pro, something that immediately comes to mind is Mitch
Mitchell
Trubisky.
Trubisky.
Yeah.
Even other than Mitchell Trubisky, let's take a look at somebody else who everybody tries to praise. And you know something? I'll give the guy, he's a good looking commentator. Mark Sanchez did not take the Jets to those AFC championship games. That Rex Ryan defense did. Mark Sanchez looked like hot garbage most of the time. And that's another one
Mark
with that
Sanchez
one
will
year.
be most remembered for his butt fumble.
Butt
That's what people
fumble.
are going to remember him for. Yes, they will. They will. Yep, Trey Lance, I would like to see, or I would like to have seen more than just one year, especially at the level that he was playing. It wasn't
Right,
your
right.
top tier talent.
I don't disagree. I don't
1 year though,
disagree,
I
but
need
all the
more.
physical
I need
tools are
more.
there. Agreed, agreed, but all the physical tools are there, and there's going to be some team.
Yeah.
You know how these egos go.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be somebody out there who's like, you know, something I can make this kid somebody. All
And
right,
he
going to
didn't
number
go.
three.
Yeah.
But you're number three. Me using numbers like 1, 2, 3 is complex for you here because you don't want to
It
just make
is.
it, 1 through 5. You want to tier this a little differently.
I'm a little bit more
Go ahead.
unique. I want 1, 2A, 2B, 4, 5. That's how I want to see things. For this one here, it was a little more challenging for me. I was torn between Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. My 2B, which would be equivalent to your number 3, is BYU's Zach Wilson. And the reason I have him as 2B is he has a lot of football intelligence, and I can see him shooting up the draft board by performing well with the interviews. I know we don't have the traditional combine this year that we're used to in previous years, but I think he has the physical tools, and I think he just has that intelligence to be able to communicate with owners, GMs, the coaching staff to really give himself, what am I looking for? Really set a good impression for these teams. And that's why he's 2B, because I have him going top 10, but I could see him going, as late as number 9, but I could also see him going as early as number 2. So that's why he's 2B right now. Now, if we have this conversation in another couple of weeks, I may change my mind on that, but right now, he's my 2B.
All right, now, and here's the thing. I don't disagree with a lot of what you're saying. I watched Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is fun to watch. He's spectacular to watch. But again, you made the point with Trey Lance, did you not?
I sure did.
It is level of competition. And for me, the level of competition doesn't match. Justin Fields played just as well with a higher level of competition when it mattered more. Let's be honest, we got Zach Wilson going toe to toe with what was it? Coastal Carolina? Who was it? I mean,
That was one of the unscheduled big games of their year, was that Coastal Carolina matchup, which they unfortunately lost. I would
we,
love to have seen BYU win that, go to a big bowl. Didn't work out that way, but we saw some good things from Zach Wilson.
no, that's not me knocking him. He's my number 3 guy. Number 3. So, but
Which is
number
equivalent to
3 for
my
me,
2B.
number 3 for me still means a top 5 pick. So, in essence, it ain't falling. No, I'm saying it right now. 3 QBs in the top 5. I'm putting a
Ooh,
stamp on it.
hold on. Let me write that down. 3 QBs, top 5.
You can write that down. If it doesn't happen, I have to get you some of that Packer gear.
All right, I'm
You
good with that.
it's been put on record, so it's out there.
We're coming back. We're
Might
not
have to
burying this
edit
tape.
this
We're
a little
coming
bit
back to it.
later. Might have to edit that out a little bit later. All right, moving on though to my number two guy. And as we spoke, we just mentioned the name. We'll treat this like WWE. You mentioned someone's name, they got to show up.
Show up.
So, Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback. I just, when it comes to it, he's played in big games and he's shown up and he's improved. That Clemson game would also prove something else. The dude is tough. The dude is tough.
Agreed.
How many of us go hurt our ribs like that and still go to a regular job? No, it's not happening.
Sure isn't.
Yeah, he went in and he didn't just go in and play. He played well. Like he outshined Trevor Lawrence on the other side. So, and I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit, but so, and like you said, I'm guessing your two B is Justin Fields, is it not?
My 2A. Yep, my 2A is Justin Fields.
Oh,
I
two A,
think
yeah.
he's really become a dynamic player, and arms he can throw. He has a lot of versatility there, and I think some club is going to fall in love with that, focus their offense around him, and it's going to look magical. It really is. Um, I could see him
I
going
agree.
as early as number two, maybe as far back as 7, 8, depending on how the draft falls and what kind of
It
momentum Zach
does.
Wilson builds for himself.
It does. I mean, not to get in the draft talk, but the Jets are a big time integer here. Are they gonna? Because I hear Robert Saleh, one of his whole selling points was bringing over the offensive coordinator and saying that they could still get a lot out of Sam Darnold. So I mean, if that's true, and you go like offensive line or maybe wide receiver at the number two spot, and all of a sudden Atlanta's sitting there picking, and then I'm just saying. I'm just
Oh
saying.
yeah, definitely. I think when I put together my own mocks, I actually had, and currently I had Justin Fields falling to number 4, going to Atlanta. Atlanta's bringing Justin Fields home. What was he, 2017's
Yeah,
Mr. Georgia
true.
football? He's going to have a little homecoming there, but that's all centered around what does New York do at number 2? They have a lot of flexibility there. Offensive line, quarterback, offensive weapon, trading back. That's, yeah.
All right, on to what everybody knows already. Let's be honest. No need to stand on
No
ceremony here.
surprise to anyone.
Number one on both of our lists, Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. I mean, we've already talked about it. Other people have talked about it. The dude is an absolute legit stud. Regardless of his haircut, he'll do just fine in the NFL. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, the peach fuzz.
Yeah. Nah, give him a
I
break.
mean,
Give him a break.
give him a couple more years. Give him a couple more years. Give him a couple more years. He'll get a little bit more up there. What's the
He'll
kid?
be rock
21.
solid. Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that means we getting old.
Yeah. So we're definitely in agreement. Trevor Lawrence, number 1 quarterback prospect, arguably the number 1 prospect overall in this draft. And, I think even if Lawrence had opted out of the entire season, even if that did happen, I still think he's going
He'd
number
still
1.
be.
I don't think there would be any
He'd
debate.
still.
People would think that he's the best thing since Andrew Luck coming out of the draft, and
He would
that's
have won number one
not
last year.
great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I love Joe Burrow,
I'll,
but he
I'll
would have
agree
won
with
number
that.
one over Joe Burrow. I'm just,
Yeah.
And last year was a good QB class. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right, we're
So now
moving
we're
on to
talking
our next segment.
quarterbacks. Before we go on, we're talking quarterbacks, right? I don't
Well,
want to get too much into the
okay.
draft talk because this isn't really a draft episode. But given that Urban Meyer has long been enamored with Trevor Lawrence, how much of a chance do we think there is that the number one pick would be anybody besides Trevor Lawrence?
I think there is a 0.1% chance. Like it's point 0.0000015%. Like it's near impossible. But speaking of Urban Meyer, we're going to talk coaches now. Oh
All
yeah, like
right.
that segue, don't you? So, first
Set
coach
you up.
we're actually talking is Urban Meyer from the
Meyer.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville got their guy in Urban Meyer. How you feel about this? People
If
are
I
conflicted. How
had,
do you feel about this?
yeah, if I had one word to describe this signing, bold. This is a bold move, and he's the first domino to fall with all the head coaching hires. And I think this move is good, is great, just for the fact that they're replacing Doug Marrone. I mean, simply just for that, it's a
I
great move. The
I
reason
like
I
the
think it's
replacing Doug
bold,
Marrone.
yeah, uh,
Well, no,
why it's
I like that
bold,
they're replacing Doug Ramone with somebody who his energy, Urban Meyer's energy, is way different than Doug Marone's. It's just he's going to bring
yeah,
he's gonna motivate these guys. I mean, I know it's not college, but he's going to motivate these guys differently than how Marone went into a situation.
agreed. Oh yeah, yeah. I think he even said in his press conference himself he's not going to be running around the field like he did at Ohio State, even previous stops. So we're not going to see that Urban Meyer, but I think the intensity is going to be there. I think that motivation is going to be there. It's really going to spark this franchise. But why it's bold is
Also
it's
with
coming
it,
out of coaching.
true, but also with it, also just to state for those people who talk about the fact that Urban Meyer had to leave Florida for health reasons, he had to leave Ohio State for health reasons. Number one, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I actually don't think he left Ohio State for health reasons. I think there was
Uh,
controversy there,
yeah,
but I'm not going to jump into that. The
maybe
NFL
maybe
is
some other pod, but not this one.
the
But I'm with you. I'm with you.
NFL is a different beast. The NFL, college is way more involving, in my opinion, because in the NFL, all you have to do, and I'm saying all, but all you have to do is focus on football. And he's in Jacksonville, of all places. So it's not like he's in New York dealing with that media. He's in Jacksonville with an owner that just stuck it out with Doug Marone for what, 4 years? I don't even know how long he was there too long.
He did
So,
4 full years as head coach, and then he finished the 2016 season as the interim head coach after they got rid of Gus Bradley.
again, too
Now,
long. So
there's some expectations to live up to. 2017, Doug Marone's first full season as Jacksonville head coach led him to a 10-6 record, led them to
I
their
get
first
that.
AFC South title, and led them
And
to
what
within a
happened?
game of the Super Bowl.
And what happened after?
Now, after that is just a huge disaster, a hot mess. Everything just went wrong with them. They went what?
But
2018 they went 5-11. 2019 they improved to 6-10, and then 20 completely regressed.
yes, but and
Lost
I'm just
15
saying
consecutive games.
For Urban Meyer's sake, I'm just saying like the health I'm not worried as much about because he doesn't have to woo parents. He doesn't have to worry about parents coming parents coming at you can be stressful. Trust me, like but
Agreed.
That's all I'm stating there. Urban Meyer can coach, focus on coaching, which is still stressful, but I honestly think it's less stress than a college coach. It's more expectation, but less stress.
Agreed. Agreed. There's going to be greater expectation. He's not going to have to worry about the year-round approach where he's coaching during the season and then worried about the recruiting trail for another however many months. I think
No, no.
it's going to be a little bit
Once the
easier.
season
General
goes over,
manager, he'll have some control over people who come to the roster, free agents, the draft, but I think it'll be less demanding than what he was
but
doing
it's
in his
all about
previous
X's
life.
and O's. It's all about X's
Yeah.
and O's. It's not it's not about, oh, how's this culture going to fit for your child? Oh, how's this guy with the red shirt? Oh, if you don't like somebody in the NFL, you cut their ass.
Exactly.
Now to the next
Exactly.
one.
Well,
To
before we
the
move on real quick, what do we
okay.
think
Oh,
about the
okay. You got
people?
more.
Yeah. What do we think about the people who are saying he's not going to be successful because he was only a college coach?
I
He
think that's
never coached
nonsense.
at
We've
the
got
professional level, didn't play at the
so.
professional level.
But I think it's nonsense. Oh yes, I'll throw this a little bit in because I've been meaning to throw this out here because I know I see the people comparing him saying if Nick Saban couldn't make it in the
Yeah,
NFL, how's
that's a
Urban
great
Meyer?
example.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just I'm going to say it out loud. Nick Saban did not fail in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins failed Nick Saban. Nick
Yeah.
Saban wanted Drew Brees to be his quarterback. The Miami Dolphins did not trust Drew Brees' shoulder. Drew Brees went down to New Orleans. We know what happened now. Drew Brees, all-time great pillar of that community. The
Yeah.
Dolphins instead signed Dante Culpepper, one and done in that franchise.
I mean,
Who
tragically, he
did Nick
suffered that
Saban
knee
have?
injury.
Who, who did Nick Saban have to lean on? Joey Harrington. And you look at their weapons. They had Marty Booker. They had Chris Chambers. They had some solid dudes there. They had Ronnie Brown
Oh,
when the NFL still really ran the ball.
yeah. But
That
I think
I mean,
a lot of his NFL
Jason
success
Taylor
was
was still
tied to
killing
who
it.
his quarterback was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many coaches with their quarterback with their success aren't tied to who their quarterback is?
Yeah.
Let's
I
just
mean,
look
you
at
figured.
another guy who came from college, Mr. Pete Carroll. His success is tied to, oh yeah, Russell Wilson, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Most of his success is tied to somebody.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
just saying. Now
Brian
it can be
Hoyer,
Andy
Matt
Reid.
Castle. Yeah.
Not everybody can be Andy Reid and be like awesome with pretty much any quarterback you put in his system. Even though Pat Mahomes is awesome, we'll talk about him later. But I'm just saying, Andy Reid has won everywhere with almost any coach.
Yeah. I mean, Andy Reid was winning with Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, he won with Nick Foles and with who else? Well, who's the one? I mean, just this weekend they won with Chad Henne.
Chad Henne. Oh man, that guy came through.
But
Yeah.
moving on, we're getting off the rails. Let's go to the next coach, which is the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
pronouncing that right. Maybe I'm not. I apologize if I'm not. You guys can get at me for that. How we feel about this one?
I think of all the coaching hires, this is the one that I loved the most. I think that it's a great move because Adam Gase is gone, and that alone makes this an A plus move. But I think he was one of the best coaching candidates available this round and last rounds. So he was a good option even during last year's hiring cycle. Why he didn't get a job, still not sure, but New York is very lucky that he fell to him. He's been such a good coach on the defensive side of the ball. Look at what he's done last year. San Francisco's
What, what,
defense going to the Super Bowl
what do you
this year.
What do you say to those people who say that you shouldn't hire a guy to be a head coach who had an awesome defensive line?
Keep building. It,
I'm gonna say it like this: you can't blame a guy because he had great players. You know,
no,
this isn't
no,
this the point? Isn't this
it's not his
that
fault.
defensive line was still good this year, and they traded away their best guy, and their second best guy got injured, and it was
They
still
suffered so many
good.
injuries. Yeah.
So, they can. So some people need to realize sometimes in professional sports, good players play, and coaches still have to coach them.
I mean, look at
Now,
New
no,
York.
my
They're
thoughts
drafting
on
number two. Look at they're going to have everything
my
available to
thought
him at number two.
my thoughts on this one. The way I like it is because he gets to bring an offensive coordinator who he's familiar with, and it's almost like a tandem hire where he gets to run his defense, his offensive coordinator gets to run the offense. And
Yeah.
it makes it really easy to be on the same page when you know each other that well.
Yep. So
Now,
what is it
and let you guys,
official or is it rumored that he's bringing Mike LaFleur with him from San Francisco?
no, I believe it's official because San Francisco's already making they're already promoting people. They promoted the I believe running game coordinator to offensive coordinator, and Gerard Mayo is promoted to defensive coordinator.
All right. Well, Mike LaFleur has got a lot of work ahead of him trying to fix the hot mess that is currently Sam Darnold, help him not see those ghosts anymore, or at least
on
coach
him
him to not say that
on
you
his
see
way.
ghosts to the media or anybody. Just avoid it altogether. It's a bad luck,
Well,
but
remember when you're mic'd up. That's the thing. Remember when you're
yeah,
mic'd up.
that's yeah. When that mic's on you, oh man.
But all right, next one. This one's a really interesting one. It's Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions selection. How are we feeling about this one? All I know is Dan Campbell looks like a mean dude. Like he looks like he could he's in the top 10 of coaches that could knock a mug out.
Yeah, he which may be a good thing for that Detroit culture. They've had Matt Patricia for the past couple of years. You know, when you're looking at Dan Campbell, you're thinking tight ends coach, assistant head coach in New Orleans. He played 10 seasons in the NFL, a couple of them with the Lions themselves. He's going to be able to
Wasn't he an
provide locker
interim
room.
coach for Miami?
Yeah, he was. He actually went, I think it was 5-7, 2015. He served as their interim head coach, and he really didn't have a good roster at all that year. So going
I,
5-7 to end the season was pretty impressive.
I hear good things about the guy. Like I hear really good things about the guy. I just don't personally know much about him other than he's been in New Orleans for a while after the Miami run, and but he's highly thought of in the NFL. It's just like what's his staff is going to look like, and the fact that he's got his he's got his, he's got a challenge there with that Detroit roster. Now, no, he's got Matthew Stafford, and if they can re-sign Kelly Galladay, they'll be, and possibly go wide receiver in the first round, and you know maybe that offense will be okay.
Maybe he's going to provide leadership, he's going to provide motivation, and he doesn't have a lot of head coaching experience outside of the interim job in Miami, but he's been learning under Sean Payton for the past 5 years.
True,
I don't think that you can
true.
discount that. 5 years under Payton, I'm curious to see what it's going to look
I
like.
mean,
Now, for me with the Packers, I don't want to see him do too well. You know what I mean? I don't want to see him be too successful. But
well,
I
just
think he'll
be
be good
glad you
for
still got
Detroit.
Mag Nagy out there. You still got Matt Nagy over there with the Bears, so
Good.
And Zims and them decided to extend Kirk Cousins, so you're okay.
We still got some people to
All
beat up
right,
on. Yeah.
let's move on because timing. So let's go with the next one is going to be Atlanta Falcons. Well, on my graphic, I've got the wrong one up. It's supposed to be Arthur Smith, not Brandon Stanley. So that is a fault of mine. But let's talk about Mr. Arthur Smith. How we feel
Yeah.
about this one?
Uh, he's replacing Dan Quinn, who wound up being Dallas's new defensive coordinator. So I suppose that congratulations are in order for you. Maybe.
We'll see.
Congratulations.
We'll see. We'll see what
Time will tell.
happens.
Time will tell. Yeah.
Time
So,
will tell,
I mean,
indeed.
looking, Arthur Smith coordinated one of the best overall offenses over the past couple of years with Tennessee, and certainly one of the best rushing offenses over the past couple of years. And you're thinking,
This
look
is
at what he
true.
did with Ryan Tannehill. He resurrected Ryan Tannehill's career, who really hadn't done well up until coming to Tennessee. And you're thinking, if he could do that with Ryan Tannehill, how much good is he going to do for Matt Ryan? Right?
Now,
How much
here's
good is
my
he going to
thing.
do for
We're,
Todd Gurley? You saw that rushing attack from Derrick Henry. No, I know Henry and Gurley are two different running backs, but you got to think those Atlanta offensive players have got to be a lot more excited now than they were about Dan Quinn. I think Arthur Smith is going to get
so,
Matt Ryan's career back on track.
so here's the thing. I'm excited for it, but I'm going to go in a different way than you. Where the Falcons are picking, and with Matt Ryan's age, this is a perfect time to pick a quarterback they want.
Yeah,
I mean, they could easily get any quarterback not named Trevor Lawrence. So they could get Justin Fields, who I think is ready to hit the field. They could get Zach Wilson, who may need a little seasoning. They could get Trey Lance, who has every single tool and could be better than those other two after he gets a little time to learn the game a little bit better. And what's better of a place to do that in is Atlanta, where he can sit on the bench. Any of them will be sitting on the bench for at least a
exactly.
year with Matt Ryan still there. I don't disagree. Matt Ryan will be the starting quarterback of the Falcons in 2021, but 2022 that looks a little murky. So why
It does.
not, when you're picking in the top five, get your future quarterback? Let Matt Ryan
Yeah.
shine out for 1 year, showcase himself so he can get his next job beyond Atlanta before you move on from him.
Yeah, absolutely right. Because when you're thinking, when you're
No,
drafting top five, you're trying to make a franchise changing draft pick. You got to make that pick
no,
count. So if quarterback's
true,
available,
true.
take them, let them sit, let them learn. I mean, I haven't heard anything about Matt Ryan being a teacher or whatnot to any other of his backups, but you're thinking,
I
if there's someone to
mean,
sit
Boston
behind,
College,
learn,
Bo-
observe,
Boston College, bud, Boston College. Come on now. You know he knows how to teach. They don't just go
true.
there for football. Now, that being said, I don't know yet. I haven't checked this out yet, but whoever's running that defense is going to be very important because
Hmm.
the talent level, the front office has done them no favors. This is why I don't know about. You asked me about Dan Quinn for the Cowboys. I don't know because the Atlanta front office has done that defensive staff zero favors. Tons of favors to the offensive staff, zero favors for the defense. Like, I mean, who?
Yeah, very true. I mean, you're thinking Dan Quinn, he was very successful when he ran Seattle's defense, Legion of Boom. I believe he took
And he
over
was
when
still
Gus
successful
Bradley had
with
left.
Atlanta's defense. He was still
Yeah,
successful with Atlanta's defense. It's just I mean, he was working with fumes, and he did a lot with less. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Time will tell.
All right. Next up, now we'll go Brandon Staley, but he's with the L.A. Chargers. This one
Yeah.
I find to be extremely interesting. I really this is this is a very odd hire, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Fully on board with you. Not to say I'm disappointed with the pick, but when I'm thinking Los Angeles Chargers, I'm thinking, look at that year that Justin Herbert just had. He is spectacular year, a lot of promise.
Well,
I'm thinking you got to give him an offensive-minded head coach to help build him. I was fully expecting
well,
David
not,
Duvall to get this job or Brian Duvall to get this job, but I think what hurt him was Buffalo still being in the playoffs, and I think Los Angeles Chargers just got scared and they thought, hey, Brandon Staley's our number two guy. We don't want to risk any of the other hot messes
I
who
don't
still have
think.
a head coaching opening to take him.
Here's the thing. I don't think either of these guys should have been considered. To be honest, I'm sorry. These are two guys without head coaching experience. What was the problem with the Chargers this year? What was their problem? It was
Bad
not
luck.
X's and O's per se. No, but it was not X's and O's per se. The defense played well. The offense played well. What happened? Time management and coaching decisions. It was poor coaching decisions. Are we sure a first time head coach is going to have that cleaned up? Are we sure that Brandon Staley is not going to have these growing pains that first time head coaches have? No, no, no. Anthony Lynn shouldn't have had them issues, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just wondering, would a veteran head coach have been a better option here, considering what plagues the Chargers? And on top of that, I do agree with you. Their defense, I mean, the defense is nasty. It's this offense, and more importantly, that offensive line that needs to be shored up better.
Offensive line, definitely. That's why I had Brian Duvall in mind. You're thinking, look what he did with Josh Allen in Buffalo. Look how well he developed him. Josh Allen in, any other year could have won the MVP. It's still to be determined, but he's up there.
You,
He's got to get some consideration. Look at that work he did with Josh Allen. Just imagine what he could do with a second
you,
year Justin Herbert.
you know what I think? I think you're right. I think, and here's the thing: I'm going to contrary to myself here, but I think the guy that they really wanted wasn't even Brian Duvall or Duvall. I think they really wanted Arthur Smith, and that's where they freaked. Is because Brandon Staley was going where after he did his interview? Philly. Now,
Well, could
just to
be.
move on to segue us,
Do we
let's
really
talk
have to go
about
through
Philly.
this next part?
Yes, yes, we do.
Oh, oh.
who, who, I can't even say it. All right, so for Philly, so we got two jobs left. We're going to start with Philly, and then we're going to get to the other one. But for the Philadelphia Eagles, they've been interviewing everybody. They've even interviewed Kellen Moore. They're even talking about interviewing John Fossil. Like, did y'all not realize the Cowboys went six and like? I mean,
Yeah, I
explain
mean,
this.
I mean, I even have a voice on my phone from Howie Roseman trying to get me to come in and do an interview for the head coaching job. I haven't returned his call yet. I have no intention of returning that call. Gonna be honest. I'd love to be a coach, but not Philadelphia. So
Yeah.
not gonna
So,
happen.
so like, I mean, out of all these, I mean, all these different coaches that are still out there, me and you went through and did a consensus before we got on the pod, and you know, do you go defense? Do you go offense? We both can agree you need to go offense because we both agree that the thing that currently plagues this team is a redhead by the name of Carson Wentz.
Uh, Yeah, I think what's going to be important for Philadelphia in this hiring cycle is finding somebody who can help save Carson Wentz's career. Because we're thinking,
Can he fix? Can he be fixed? Can he be fixed?
I think he can. I think he can.
I
Keyword
I don't disagree. He can,
can.
but over the years I've said he was overrated. I said he wasn't that
Mm-hmm.
dude in 2017. Everybody wants to say they want to diss my guy. They want to diss my guy because he had one bad season, but this dude get three bad seasons and one good season, and it's all he's anointed. There's a certain dude on ESPN who had this dude in the top five quarterbacks. I ain't gonna say the dude's name, but this is a dude who had a proponency to walk out of the back of the end zone and not know he was there. But that being said, I do think Carson Wentz can be saved. I actually don't think I am not a Carson Wentz hater. I'm just pump the brakes on the Carson Wentz love, the anointment.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. But that being said, I think me and you agreed on this head coach. There's a head coach out, or no, there's a coach out there to be a head coach who was formerly a head coach who can save Carson Wentz the same way that one the offensive coordinator that they just got rid of in Pittsburgh saved Ben Roethlisberger. Carson Wentz's problem is he's a YOLO man. He just throws it up and prays. He needs to embrace the short passing game. He needs to Tom Brady that stuff. So you know where I'm going. So which coach am I talking about?
Yeah, I think we both agreed on Josh McDaniels. And for everybody listening, our agreement was one of us said Josh McDaniel, and the other one's like, I can see it. I can see it. I don't think either of us are really confident with this job or position. All I know for sure is this cannot go to a first-time head coach. Too much of a mess.
Well, I mean,
you need someone with head coaching
with their
experience.
cap situation, the cap situation is gross. They've got probably, I think, don't they have the worst cap situation in all? Is it them or the Saints with the worst cap situation in all of the NFL? It's one of those two teams.
One of those two. It could be
their cap situation's
they're
bad.
There, and I think that just emphasizes even more why they need Carson Wentz to be successful, to make that extension, that deal look more worthwhile. That's why they need to save his career, which is why you're not going to see Philadelphia draft a quarterback at number 6 because they just took Jalen Hurts in the second round last year. That didn't turn out too well for them, but maybe Doug Peterson mismanaged things. But they have too much invested with quarterbacks, especially Wentz already. They have to stick with them. They have to write it out. They're going to do everything they can to salvage that career.
It's just they raced to beat Dallas so that they could screw Dallas over, and they kind of screwed themselves in the pooch at the same time. So y'all get sometimes being first is always the best way to be.
No, but Ricky Bobby said if you're not first, you're last.
And we learned that tortoise and hare story when we were young for a reason. Now, onwards.
Some people still need to go through it, learn it.
To the worst job in possibly all of sports. I mean, it is the worst job in all of football, but maybe all of sports. The Houston Texans job. God, what we do here? I'd
like to see them go the whole season without a head coach.
That was going to be our consensus was just no coach.
Nobody. No.
Well, let's look at this. So the cap situation's not great. They got to get rid of JJ to make it better, which is still not a great thing for them. On top of that, their quarterback done lost his mind. No, no. Here's the thing. I'm going to specify and say this. If this was a fact of matter where he's talking about how he outplayed his contract, which, even though it's a new contract extension, last year he might have outplayed it. So if it was to outplay his contract situation, I'm on board with him. If it's a situation where he's at the end of his contract and he's just done with him, I can get with it. But Bud, bruh, you just signed a large extension with this squad. And now you're talking about how they doing things a certain way you don't like. You knew what they was doing last year. You knew
I
this
know.
when when Nuke got sent out the door.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yet
you're
you
just
still
thinking
signed
how
said contract with them.
they didn't handle things great. I mean, how they handled Jadavion Clowney leaving town, trading DeAndre Hopkins, sticking with Bill O'Brien through all of this. I do want to come to the defense of Deshaun Watson a little bit, right? No one forced him to sign that huge contract. Not at
No.
all. He signed it.
And
He's
that's the
now part of the
problem.
Texans organization. But I think a lot of this starts at the top. And where I want to come into the defense of Deshaun Watson is Cal McNair publicly said that he was going to involve Deshaun Watson in the search for a GM,
True.
and he
True.
didn't. Now, things could have been good between the
Would
two of them until they got to that point, and until Deshaun Watson finds out through social media who his new GM is going to be, and then it just brought up, uh,
At the same time, I don't get to pick my boss. At the same time, I don't get to pick
you
my
know,
boss. Where this is difficult is how Deshaun is handling it. Is my opinion. He could
yeah,
have went to
now,
management. He could have went to management and be like, you know something. He could have done everything he's doing without saying it to us, and let them put that out there. Let them hang themselves. But unfortunately, he had to throw everything out there. If he went to them, you know something, I want to trade. I want out of here because this ain't working out. You guys aren't treating me well. I'm putting it on your plate now. That's what I'm saying. I'm not coming back, and that's where I want. And then just bounce and just not say nothing to nobody. And let them throw things out there and Deshaun just say no comment when people talk. It could have been the most beautiful thing for him. But now
yeah,
you've got it out there where Deshaun is disgruntled and he's upset and because of stuff that they've done that he doesn't like. So let's say it's a team trying to trade for him. Well, what's stopping that team from sitting there thinking, okay, do we got to put stuff in the contract that states we get money back if he decides he don't like us? Let's say it's a coach coming over. How's that coach gonna like? Okay, so is he gonna be here? Is he not gonna be here? If he does come in, is he gonna get mad later on? This whole situation has been put in an untenable type scenario. There's no win
I
here.
I agree. I think things could have been handled better by owner Cal McNair from the beginning.
Well,
When I say
true,
beginning, I mean
true.
like the whole GM search, because all Cal McNair had to do is just sit down with Deshaun, have a conversation, and say, "You are our franchise quarterback, and we rewarded you with a contract worthy of a franchise quarterback. And just like we trust you to lead our team on the field, you need to trust us that we're going to surround you with the personnel and the talent to help this organization be successful." So, as a
My
member of this
only
organization and as our franchise quarterback, I value your opinion. I respect what you have to say. But this is our decision. We'll certainly take your opinion into consideration, but this is a decision that we make about the future of our franchise. And I think if they would have had a conversation like that, I don't,
my,
would all of this have happened? I think where the problem occurred is he said he was going to involve Watson, and then
Right,
he didn't.
I get that. I get that. I get that. But here's my thing. Let's say I go to a store and I buy a computer and the computer's broken. So I go take it back and I go to take it back and the dude's like, no, no, sales are final. So then I go back to said, am I going to go back to said store buy another computer and be surprised if it's broken? We've seen how these how this franchise operates. That's my only thing is, Deshaun, you sat there and you watched your buddies
Yeah.
go through and have shitty experiences. Then you hear Luke, you hear DeAndre say how much better off he is that he's not there. Think about that. You think he disliked you as a quarterback? That's not true. He loved you as a quarterback. He hated being with that franchise. You got other dudes, and maybe that's, I get it. I get why people come to your defense, but at the same time, you should have known better. You chase the money, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on you for that. Get your money, but now you stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. He's stuck in that contract. He can try and actively ask for a trade. He can passively try and get a trade. But at the end of the day, he signed a deal. He's with Houston. If he wants to sit
Now,
out and not get paid, that's up to him.
hey, and we saw what happened to Le'Veon, path to insignificance.
Hmm.
So next up, we get so basically we have to say somebody, and the person that was brought up was Leslie Frazier, and the only reason why we're going with Leslie Frazier because I'm not so sure Leslie Frazier wants this job, but the GM apparently really likes Leslie Frazier, and money can help, and with how Leslie Frazier's time ended with Minnesota, I don't know if he's got many other offers happening. Even though his quarterback with Minnesota was what, Tavarius Jackson? I'm
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
he's currently serving as Buffalo's defensive coordinator, so yeah, I
Yeah,
see him because we're thinking because Dario wants to see somebody with head coaching experience, and this is
true,
just like
true.
Philadelphia, an opening that should not go to a first-time head coach. There's too much of a mess going on. There's too much of a power
And,
struggle, and there's no clear dynamic with the organization and direction.
well, let's
So
be
someone like
honest.
Eric
But
Bieniemy would, although he's a good candidate, he'd be a bad fit. There's a lot to fix here.
does Eric really want this job? Let's just be honest. He's got a
I'd say
good,
no.
cushy job there over in KC. He can
Oh yeah.
just wait and pick where he wants to go. I mean, if I was him this offseason, there's only one job I would have wanted, and that franchise really, really wanted Urban Meyer. So, honestly, I don't know, I'd be like, something, I'm gonna sit and wait. I'm gonna chill out. Let's just look at this. Dallas has another bad season. I'll slide in there.
He's one of those candidates who should wait for the right opening, not rush it. I mean, Kansas
True.
City's gone to this is going to be their third consecutive AFC Championship game. When you're that close to the Super Bowl year in year out, you should really give yourself the opportunity to pick the right job, not rush into it.
Right.
Be patient, Eric. Be patient. It's going to come. You're going to land yourself a great deal. Maybe it will be Houston in the future once they're more stable. Who knows?
No,
Maybe.
I don't. I don't
No.
think so. All right,
All
moving on.
right.
Let's get these playoffs out the way. So we got
Whew.
the NFC and AFC championships. We're going to do NFC first. I already know where you're going.
All right.
I'm going there too. Honestly, it has nothing to do with liking the Packers or Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. I wouldn't mind Aaron Rodgers getting two. I wouldn't mind. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't mind him getting two. I just don't want to hear about Tom Brady in the Super Bowl again because the media gets stupid. It's nothing about Tom Brady. The media gets stupid. They lose their damn brains when Tom Brady's name comes up. Oh my God, Tom Brady. The whole other team and coaching staff just disappears because Tom Brady's there.
Yeah.
I also
So
think there's some
this,
revenge factor here. It's going to be in Green Bay. It could be snowing.
yes, it could be. And if you're thinking Is this deja vu of week 6? It's not quite
No,
deja vu, but we're seeing the same matchups than we did in week 6 for both conference championship
no,
games. Now,
no,
back in
no,
this
no.
matchup, Tampa Bay just spanked Green Bay. It was what, a 38-10 game. During that game, Tampa Bay, they leaned
See,
heavily on the run game to win. Ronald Jones II ran for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers had a miserable outing, turnovers, getting sacked. I think this time's going to be
see,
much different because, yeah,
I saw it in the game over the weekend. Um, they are scheming probably the best, if not one of the best receivers in the game, open when he doesn't need it. So they're not just getting. He's not just getting open. They're scheming him open. The touchdown against Jalen Ramsey when Jalen Ramsey was all mad. That wasn't Jalen's fault. That was good
I love
scheming.
that play. Yep.
you know. So I just and then the other players are playing better on Green Bay. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Alan Lazard, boy, needed to get his hands checked. Can't be
He hit a
dropping those
couple
wide
of,
open TDs.
no, oh no, no, no. Aaron Rodgers, I might as well talk to him about that. But yeah, Green
I
Bay's
know he
going to
came
win.
back
There's a
and
lot
caught
on the
one later in
line.
the game. I know he came back and caught one, but that early one, I was like, oh no. um, I don't think there's much else to say here. Like Tampa's defense is playing well, but Aaron Rodgers is the MVP of the league. Aaron Jones looks like he's rounded back into form. I don't think Aaron Jones was fully healthy in that first game, was he? Am I wrong about that?
I think he had about 60 some yards. I think he scored the touchdown. I don't think it wasn't the greatest game
I
from
don't,
Green
but
Bay
I don't
overall.
think he
But
was healthy. I don't think he was fully healthy in that game, though. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he was healthy
oh yeah,
because
let's
he
go
hasn't
back and
been.
check.
He was healthy for like the first 4 weeks, and then he's had some nagging injuries, and he looks fully healthy now.
Yeah, I like the running attack they have now with that three-headed monster going. I think that's going to be
Well,
really good in the playoffs.
didn't Dylan get hurt? Didn't Dylan get hurt?
At least they have a two-headed monster then.
All right, moving on to the AFC. Let's get the major elephant out of the way. I think Patty Mahomes will play. From what I'm hearing, it wasn't a concussion, that he tweaked a nerve in his neck. He's still in the concussion protocol, but apparently he's passing every test that they give him. So I
Yeah,
think he's going to play. I still think it's going to be a good game because I think these are the two best teams right here. I would take Buffalo over Green Bay. No offense. Um, I'm just saying, just saying. But if Patty plays, it's KC, and KC's running away with the Lombardi with whoever they play. It's too much. It's too much.
yeah. Again, this
Weapon
is a
on
week
top of
6
weapon.
matchup. Yeah, Kansas City has a lot. The first game, Kansas City won 26-17. They won mostly on the grounds. What was it? Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran for about a buck 60. I
The
think the
question is, will
total.
he play?
I don't think he will. I don't think they're going to have the same rushing attack like they did back in week 6. I think Mahomes will end up playing. I don't think it's going to be confirmed whether he plays until probably Saturday, if
And
not Sunday morning. I have a hard time believing he didn't suffer a concussion because when you saw him get up off the ground, he had all wobbly.
what they're
The next
saying
thing that makes you
is
nervous.
that
Yeah.
what they're saying is that when he tweaked that nerve, it took away like and caused like a partial paralysis or some nonsense like that.
Or
So,
he had a concussion. One of the two.
but again, I'm not a doctor. The
Yeah.
doctor is not at the beginning of my name, and MD is not at the bottom.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't have a concussion, he still has to go through the protocol. which means he has to get the full
Yes.
practice in. He has to pass the test of the
I
examination
don't think
by
he
an
needs.
independent
Uh,
neurologist.
I don't think
He's
he
going
needs
to pass
practice.
it. No,
I
no,
don't think
but I
he needs
think in order
practice.
to clear the protocol, he needs to get a practice in, though. That's part of the
No, no, I
protocol.
get you. Is that part of the protocol? I don't think it is.
I thought it was. I thought it was you have to go through a full practice and then you get cleared
Oh,
by the
we'll,
neurologist.
we'll have to
We'll do
check
some
on that.
research.
We'll have to check on
Yeah.
that. That being said, I'm saying it right now. I want Buffalo to win, and then I want Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. I feel bad for that place. I,
Yeah.
I feel bad for how Josh Allen has been treated. Who like some of this nonsense that people in TV have said about Josh Allen and Josh Allen fans. So I want Josh Allen to win the Super Bowl just to be like, what?
No, I'm going Kansas City with or without Holmes. It's going to be, or
Oh
Mahomes.
no
It's going to
no.
be much easier to
Okay.
win with him. They can win with Henny as
Oh
starting
no no.
quarterback. They'll
You're
be a little
saying
bit
with
more
or
challenging.
without? They're they're
Yeah,
not winning without him. They're not winning without him. Buffalo will
I
win that
think they
game.
can. I think they can.
Yeah, I think I can too, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Well, we're going to see the State Farm Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers against Patrick
Well,
Mahomes and the
better
Kansas
get your
City
ketchup
Chiefs.
out. You better get your ketchup out because Mahomes is winning that. So put your ketchup on your steak.
Oh, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. I know we
I,
could see Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, which I kind of want to see Tampa Bay go to the Super Bowl just for the fact that it'll be the first time a team in the Super
well,
Bowl is
that,
playing in their own stadium.
but well,
Just for
let's
that
play
little
devil's
fact.
advocate here real quick. Let's play devil's advocate. How much fun would it be to see Buffalo beat Tom Brady for their first Super Bowl win?
It would be nice. It would remind me of Eli Manning beating Tom Brady.
But I think that's all we got for this week. We'll have some other good content coming up for next week. We're going to do, I believe, running back position grades, where we're going to examine some other fun stuff for the league. So, Sean, if you got some words of wisdom for the people, let them know.
Not quite wisdom, but we appreciate you coming back and listening for a second pod. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. Granted, I'm not sure who they are, but as Sean mentioned in the beginning, we are two very amateur people, and I want to emphasize amateur. So thank you for listening to us again. We appreciate you. We love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you
One
very
final
much.
wisdom.
Eat your vegetables.